So today is going to be our first mod to the 392. We're going to take apart the dash.
Yeah, we're gonna go exploring in there because we actually have no idea how to do what we're trying to do. So I want to install a phone mount and a GoPro mount at the top, and we're gonna use the bullet point Rubigrid. But underneath, I want to install some USB ports so that I don't have to run them, across the dash. And we need to tap into the 12-volt socket that's down below. The older Wranglers were much easier to get behind the screen because everything is integrated now. It's actually very difficult. The only person who has posted anything on YouTube was actually trying to pull the screen out and literally had to take the entire dash apart, like door to door. So we're going to try not to do that. We're going to try to move things out of the way and find some hollow spot that we can run the wires down.
So this should be exciting and probably a little scary at points, but
yeah, usually we pretend to know what we're doing before we start. We're not even going to pretend this time.
Yeah, there's like being so new to 24s, there's like no information out there of how to do it. So we're going to be trailblazers.
Yeah, let's rip this thing apart.
Let's do it.
So here we go. We're going to start pulling things out. So we know that this part needs to come out. So if I understand correctly, when you pull out these rubber parts, there are going to be a couple screws on each side. They actually snap in here. Looks like there are also some tabs. Yep. Yeah, comes right out. Yeah, looks like 6 tabs that are still holding it in afterwards. So seeing as how the Rubigrid is going to mount on that side, we definitely want to drill out on the other side, right over here, for the outlet. But it looks like the wire can go straight through here, and we need to find a way to get it down here. So it used to be a lot easier because this panel would stop right here, and it was really easy to pop off. Now it's connected all the way down there, and from what I understand, you'd have to take off this entire top part. So we're going to try to move it out of the way, because what we actually want to get to is this one down here. It used to be that there was one screw back here that held it in, and then would just be a couple tabs. So we're going to hopefully, let's get a pry tool in here. Yep. Okay, that's about all I can get right now. So if you can get in here. So there is a slight hole right here, and I do see the screw that we're looking for. Okay, so that screw right there, you can see where my finger is. Right there is the one that should still be holding this part down, because this part down here didn't change from the prior generation. So let's see if we can get that screw out without having to remove this entire panel. If I'm right, this now is just on a couple tabs and comes right out. All right, so we're out of the Jeep right now, and we're just planning how everything's going to come together now that we know how to run the wire. So the Rubigrid is going to sit right over here. Now what I noticed is that the bottom part goes all the way across. That's not going to work for the plugs that we want to put in, so we're actually going to trim it out. I already started a little bit off camera. So, huge fan of Bullet Point because they make a really good quality product, and that makes it very difficult to cut through. Okay. Done with that. Now we have our opening on the back. Then when we put it onto here, we know exactly where we need to drill our hole for the USB ports. So we're going to need to go, looks like maybe a little over an inch, measure it. But we'll use a step drill to get in there. So I'll start with a pilot hole. Let me grab a screwdriver and just make a mark for the center. So I'm putting it sideways because when this comes in here, the metal is still in the way there. So when I put what I did is I got some angled USB wires, USB-C. So when they go in here, one will go forward One will go back, just like that. And that will go over the top and attach right in there, nice and clean. Then I have one for the GoPro coming out the back and one for the phone coming out the front. This side might be floating just a little bit, but this is going to secure it just fine. So we have the Rubigrid detached right now. So here's what's going to need to happen. We need to take this into the Jeep basically like this, with this just hanging here, because this needs to slide in, then this needs to get reattached to the dash, and then the Rubigrid attaches over it to these 4 mounting holes. So the 24s actually, they gave you mounting holes for devices, so it uses those. So that will get screwed onto there, then this will get reattached, but all of that can only happen after we attach the wire to here and fish it down through there. So that's what we're gonna go do right now.
Let's do it.
So I think that from up here, this should be a completely empty cavity down to here, which is where I need to get to. If it is, then I should be able to get in there. All right, so if I'm right, we're gonna be able to get from this hole. I just have a couple of zip ties here that I'm using because I can angle them really easily. And yep, if you look right there, you can see it moving around, and then I just need to get it one spot lower down into here, and right there. Okay. So we have shown at least now that we can get in there without disassembling everything, which is in itself a win. This opening that the wire is going to be going through is not large enough to fit the USB plug. So we're going to use the same step drill and widen it up a bit. That should be good now. It looks like we are dead on. Looks like all the clips are going to line up. All right. So now what we want to do is crimp our wires up here. So we got positive and negative over here. And then this whole zip tie that I've been hanging here, we're going to use that exact zip tie. Now, the 2 screws that we removed, the ball mounts need to install on top of the Rubigrid. So with that, everything here is in place. We need to attach this side.
Now normally that would be one piece. It's 2 pieces because we ended up cutting it.
I do think we lost a little bit of stability. Hopefully it won't shake the phone when I'm driving. Guess we'll have to find out. Just to finish up here.
So it doesn't sit flush, there's a little gap, right?
Yeah, there's a little gap, and I'm not sure if that's because we have wired pressure coming up, but even on this side where it is sitting completely flush, no, there's a gap. It's by design. So just like we did on Felix's, we're using posi tabs here.
Link for the other video will be up above.
One of them is going to go on the black one of them is going to go on the pink and orange one. So there's like a pink and gray. We're ignoring that one, and we're going on to this one right here. Okay, so in the pods tap, the red goes to the pink and orange one.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Thanks, Siri.
You're welcome.
Tuck test, everything looks good.
This is the part that I suggest you fire it up and test it out.
Yeah, we're gonna, before we put it all back together, gonna connect the battery, make sure everything works.
Be right back.
All right, so we're done messing with electrical. So we have put connected the battery, and everything works. It charges. I don't have the phone plugged in right now, but the car's not on. So, but here. Yep, there's a lightning bolt showing it's charging, so that's awesome. Means everything is working.
Just gotta close it up.
Yep, so just one screw to close it up, and then everything should snap in. So the screw, again, very hard to reach. So we're gonna wanna pull this out a bit. Get this in here. Okay. That all snapped in, so as I said, one screw we need to get in there, which is very difficult to see. There it goes. That's the only screw down here, and then this should snap right in.
So to have a slightly easier time, you could disassemble and take off this whole thing. You're gonna have to deal with some couple screws on this side, and then underneath there's some snaps. So just heads up, I saw this in another video. There's some clips down here and here that will have to be released. And I think there might be screws behind that little plastic panel that pops off too. But that's it. We're done.
There we have it. Everything's installed. Everything's put back together. Everything works. Interesting experience with exploring the dash. You know, first time I've ever gone in without having any idea of what I was doing, but seems to have worked out just fine.
So what's left to do?
Dock it. And on to the next one.